And welcome back to another episode of the Real Conversations podcast. I'm your host, Jacob O'Connor. Real Conversations is a podcast for those dedicated to doing hard things and living a meaningful life. Today, back on for another edition of the Q&A Life Update series, my business partner, my best friend, my former basketball teammate, my roommate, probably along with other things, former classmate, John Peterson.
What's up? What up? We're here. Back again for another episode.
Bringing the energy right off the jump, man.
I like the intro was good, though. I like that. You've been working on that?
That's the same intro I've had for 2 years.
Oh, really? Well, no, the intro to me.
Oh, the intro
to me.
Yeah, no.
Intro to me.
Yeah. You know,
That's what I was talking about.
I always struggle because like every time you and I meet so many new people and we tell our stories so many times about like the restaurant and what we're doing or the podcast or whatever.
Indeed.
And I always just refer to you as John. And I assume most people know that you're John, but I don't know that everyone knows you're John.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like viewership has been up and in a different direction. So that's kind of interesting.
Has it?
I don't know. I was hoping it is.
I don't know. I've stopped checking.
Oh, okay.
I only have room for so much data in my head. I've stopped checking.
Well, and I feel like it has, though, because every time I talk to you, you're like, oh yeah, so and so listens to the podcast. They just sent me like a message about it or something.
I'll say
like
engagement's up.
Okay,
I have people texting me about it, which is cool. Or they'll DM me or whatever else.
So maybe I'm becoming a household name.
That's true. You could be a local legend now, but then I meet a lot of people that I'm meeting for the first time, and they know you because of the podcast. I know that's happened a handful of times. That's pretty cool.
That is sweet.
Yeah.
Like an ancillary deal here.
Yeah. So anyways, it's been a month since the last time you and I did a Q&A Life Update episode. Crazy to think it's already February.
I know it. Holy cow.
Weird, dude.
Where did January go?
Shoot, dude. Where did February go? It's February 22nd right now.
I know it. We're almost all the way through.
Weird, dude. 6 more days.
Very weird. Very weird.
Yeah.
But it's good. I think, if we're not... I like the idea that time is going quickly because I feel like we're learning so much.
Yeah.
That it's just compounding at this point, and we're just kind of rolling into it's going to be 2026, and we're going to be so much more apt to take on whatever comes our way.
Yeah, and the confidence in handling the unknown has been like a big thing you and I have talked about in the last year. It's just like we said we'd be able to handle it, and then now we're here, and it's like, okay, we're figuring it out slowly, albeit, but we can handle whatever comes our way with it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and I know we talked about that. Probably the last time we did this podcast was probably the same time that we talked about how in Florida we didn't know anything.
Right.
And we thought, in a year's time, we're going to know so much stuff. And we did. But now we're thinking in a year's time, we're going to know so much more stuff.
Yeah. Yep. That's one of those paradoxes. It's like Kindler's Law or something. That's the wrong name, but they actually have it. It's the idea that like a domain of something is so large that you initially think it's small and you think you're going to know a lot. But then as you get deeper into it, you realize that the domain expands and there's so much more tied to it than you originally thought. So it's like you and I know a lot compared to the first time, but now the bubble of how much more we have to learn is even bigger than we originally thought the bubble of knowledge was.
In layman's terms, you don't know what you don't know.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
Let's break it down.
Brilliant.
Break it down for the people out here.
For the people. We the people.
We are the people.
Shout out to America. It's been a good year so far.
We love the people.
Besides the egg prices.
Egg prices need to work on it.
Oh my gosh, man.
Need to work on the egg prices, but you know what? We're doing it. We're going forward.
If this podcast seems disorganized, speaking for myself, I think we're tired. I know I'm pretty tired, but we're out here. We're doing it.
We're pretty wore out. I would say weekends are busy.
Yeah.
Busy. Good nonetheless, but busy. So yeah, it is. We're a little bit disheveled right now. It is currently like 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
We closed at 3. So it's kind of a Saturday, Sunday is just like a sprint the whole time.
Yeah. And with the original time comment, everything moving so fast, it's like, I never know what day of the week it is anymore. Like I literally just rely on my calendar to tell me when something is coming up.
And it doesn't really matter what day it is.
We're going to be at the restaurant.
We take meetings on Saturday, Sunday, Monday through Friday.
Yep. We're always doing it.
Always doing it.
Yeah.
Always learning.
So how have you been the last month? What's new?
What's new for me? I mean, I would say we've been growing for on the personal side of things.
I'm 6'5" now.
Yeah, you have gained a foot.
Shut up.
Just kidding. 6 inches. But no, it's been good. It's been really, really good. I feel like there's growth happening in both the personal aspect of my life and the professional aspect of my life. We kind of talked about the professional aspect, just meeting new people. You and I are just trying to learn everything we can from those who have walked before us in A, the restaurant world, and B, just even within our franchise. I think that's the biggest thing that's the biggest revelation we've had in the past month is they tell us this from day one. Learn from the people that have done it before you,
Right.
that are successful because they already made all the mistakes. And it's like, yeah, whatever. I'll talk to them, try to figure out what they did. But then when you have something to apply it to, like a restaurant where there's so many moving pieces, you and I going and shadowing a franchisee that has been open for 12 years and has gone through literally everything, it's just eye-opening because we sit back and we scratch our heads about certain situations that happen in the restaurant or certain processes that we have. And you go and, they figured this out 6 years ago and they've been running with the same process ever since. And they have great success with it. But without going and talking to the people and shadowing, you have no idea.
Yeah. I always like to think about it like a ladder. Like you've got your goal at a certain rung that's above where you currently are and you're reaching for it. And then you've got the people that have higher goals than you that are higher up the ladder subsequently because they've hit your goals already. So they stick that hand down and try and help you up. And two things have become apparent for me through this process of like really getting invested with new mentors and like learning from them. Hey guys, Jacob here. Real quick before we get back to the episode, I just want to take a quick second to say, if you guys are enjoying this episode, please make sure to share the link with a friend. You may have noticed I don't run any ads in the podcast. In fact, I don't make any money off the podcast. It's quite the contrary. Over the past 5 years, I've invested a lot of time, money, and effort into the growth of the show, trying to continually upgrade the equipment, bring on better guests, and just improve the overall quality of the podcast. So if you guys are enjoying this episode or if you enjoyed previous episodes, please share the link with a friend. Saying it to 1 or 2 people makes a huge difference for me on the back end. As always, I appreciate your guys' support. Let's get back into the episode. Is one, like Success Leaves Clues, like you're saying, like actually going and having an immersive experience. Like I went to Shenandoah, Texas last weekend, which is like Houston, Texas, to shadow the franchisee that's been open for 12 years. And he's got the number one Another Broken Egg in the entire franchise system, which is over 100 locations. And like the time investment for me to be away from the cafe and the dollar investment for the hotel and the gas and everything else, like initially I looked at that and I was like, this is expensive. We don't need to be doing this. But then to walk away with 3 pages full of notes, to be able to tell him the exact issues I'm having and to hear that he's solved the majority of them already in his own cafe, and then to build that connection and that network, because I'll have that relationship forever now. And I definitely think you should go down there, and I think you will go shadow him too. But like all of that, if you add up the actual money I spent compared to the value I received, the value is 10x what I spent. Like I'm 100% confident in that. So the Success Leaves Clues is the first big thing. And the second part is the gap of implementation versus like actually taking in knowledge. Like you can read a book, but it doesn't do any good if you don't apply the lessons from it.
Right.
And I feel like you and I did a really good job early on of reaching out to people for help. We just got so much knowledge that we sucked at the application of it. Like we just have all these notes written down. And I go back and I look at our notes. I'm like, oh yeah, we should have done that. That is a good idea. Or we're having to figure it out now. And that was 6 months ago or whatever. And I feel like now we're trying to shorten that implementation process. Like I got back on Monday and within 3 days, we'd already started putting in some of the stuff that I learned in Texas.
Yep.
And I think we're really trying to speed up on like, okay, it may not work for us, but like, let's at least try it first. It's not just write it off. Let's not push it away. Let's just get it and try it.
Right. Yeah. And we just need to keep having those conversations. It's fascinating because they know. And they're like, oh yeah, that's an easy fix. And it's like, we've been pondering that for 2-3 weeks.
Yeah.
So frustrating on one hand, but really awesome on the other hand.
And then like our Friday morning meeting with another really successful franchisee, we thought we knew what we were doing. And then he points out that we're doing things pretty much entirely wrong. And it's like, okay, suck up your ego so you can actually learn from them. And it's a phone call, and he's like, hey, hop on Teams. I'm literally going to show you on my computer exactly what you need to do on your end. And it's like just so tactical. Like it's actually something you can directly apply. It's such a hack to find people in your area of expertise that are ahead of you and get them to invest in you.
You know, it kind of goes back to the origin of this whole thing is like the benefit of a franchise.
Yeah.
You know, that not entirely, but at the same time, it's like you have these connections, people that are within the same brand, doing the same thing, pushing the same items, pretty much the same it's the whole same process.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have that resource of 100 people. How many franchisees are there? 30?
Yeah, I think about 30.
About 30. Yeah. Like 30 different individuals that are having different experiences in different markets, but they're all trying to achieve the same goal.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that even outside of the franchise, it's still the same thing applies, but it is nice that it's the exact same processes on our end that we can reach out about.
Yeah. We have a direct one-to-one comparison, which is nice.
Yeah, it really is nice. So yeah, there's that. I talked about this in the YouTube episode a little bit. We've kind of come up with this new motto of becoming the best. It's kind of like what we've been saying and the verbiage we've been using around how we're thinking about the restaurant. So we've really been embodying that the last month, I feel like, and just every day, just trying to incrementally get better and improve no matter what. Yeah.
I think we've also really tried to say it around our people as well.
Yeah.
And I'm hopeful that that's kind of infecting their system a little bit into thinking, oh, you know, these guys want to be the best.
Right.
I want to be the best. I'm on board with that. So that's kind of my thought process is like, we just need to keep saying it.
I like it because it applies to everything. Like I'll even find it with myself. It's like, I'm sweeping the floor. I'm stocking a caddy. I'm doing something small and seemingly unimportant, but I'm telling myself, be the best at it. Make this the best looking caddy in the entire restaurant. Make this the most well-swept patio in all of Wichita. Like as stupid as that sounds, like it somehow it just tricks me into like, I get competitive with it. It's like, you know what? You're right. Yeah. Let's make this as good as it can possibly be.
Right. It's like, it's one of those things. It's like, is the competitor restaurant down the way, are they doing these small things? Maybe they are, maybe they aren't, but I know that I am.
Yeah.
You know, so I have a leg up on them.
Yeah, 100%. It's like the obsession versus talent conversation. Like they may have a really good product. They may have whatever advantages they have, but it's like the person who's more obsessed is just going to, over time, overtake them and be better than they are.
100%.
So if you guys can hear that in the background, that's Moose, John's dog.
Yes.
He's had a long day.
He has had a long day.
He's a good puppy, though. We love you, Moose.
He's a good dog.
Okay. Anything else before we dive into it?
No, I don't think so. It's been another month of growth. So I like it. Even on the personal side, getting back in the gym and just starting to grind it out again feels good. We'll kind of dive into that, I think, a little bit.
Yeah. This first question, well, I'll just dive into that one because it'll tie into it. The first question is worded a little bit rudely, but that's okay because I know that they're well intended.
Mm-hmm.
Are you guys actually sticking to the bulk? LOL.
It's a funny question. I mean, I think yes, but I know that I'm not as dedicated as I was formerly. I feel like it's hard for me to be in restaurant and take the time to make something or, you know, do something like that. I feel like, I don't know. Because you're
focused on the restaurant while you're in there?
Yeah, I would say I don't want to make time to make food, which is a bad excuse. It really, really is, because I could just meal prep it or whatever. But I don't.
Right.
So that's something I definitely need to get better on. And thank you for whoever wrote that comment to definitely keeping me accountable on that one.
Yeah, it may or may not have been your girlfriend.
It may or may not have been.
Yep.
So,
yeah, no, I plan to stick with the bulk. The unfortunate news is that I gained weight and I seem to have lost 2 pounds sometime recently. I had a gap between weighing myself. I try and do it weekly, and I guess it had been maybe 3 weeks or so. And I finally stepped back on this week, and I was like, oh, I'm 2 pounds less than I was last time.
dang, that's brutal.
Yeah, you hate to put up numbers like that. You really do.
Yeah.
Overall net, I'm up. I think I'm like 187 right now or so.
Wow, that's not bad.
Yeah.
And your goal's one.
It's 195, but honestly, I kind of want to just say, let's push through and go to 200.
Fair enough.
But
200, you'd be pretty solid.
Yeah. I mean, at 187, I feel very lean still. So I don't because I don't want to get fat from bulking. But
right.
Yeah, I still feel pretty lean at 187.
That's solid.
So I've been meal prepping, which I talked about last time. I'd never done that before. And I've been very consistent with it. So I'm happy about that. I'm drinking a lot of protein shakes. Shout out to my girlfriend who gets those for me. And the issue that I have though is I'm tired of the food at the restaurant. So like usually I'll meal prep, I'll eat breakfast, I'll meal prep a early lunch, and then I'll try and eat second lunch at the restaurant, just whatever our food is. And I'm very tired of our food just from eating it so much. And then the other thing I'm running into is like when I guess there's 2 more things. When I get stressed out, I don't want to eat. I don't know if it's that way for everyone, but like when I'm worried about something or I'm really thinking on something, I just have no desire to eat.
I'm in the same boat.
Yeah.
I just don't.
Yeah.
It doesn't even sound good.
No. Makes you feel like I'm going to throw up.
Yeah.
So there's that. And the other one is I've noticed that food, probably gluten specifically, makes me feel lethargic after I eat it, especially in excess. And so when you're trying to bulk, it's like you're putting all those calories in. I know I'm going to be less productive after I eat a big meal. So I'm trying to work around that with the smaller meals and also eating cleaner, even though not all the time I'm super clean. But the big meals kind of put me down with the efficiency. And I don't want to sacrifice that.
Yeah, no, I feel that the same way. It's just, I feel like you have to be, I have to be very selective with what I eat. Even if I eat bacon in the morning, because it's just very accessible.
Yeah.
Even eggs in the morning, sometimes they make me feel tired.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's just kind of the way we cook them, or if it's just eggs in general. Maybe it's the fat or the cholesterol in the eggs. I don't know.
Could be.
I have no idea. So
I've got it down to a science. I'll do 3 eggs with 3 pieces of bacon at 6:40 in the morning, which is, I think, 6 to 7 grams of protein per whole egg. So we're looking at 18 to 21 grams right there, plus 3 slices of our bacon, which is thick cut, is about 9 total grams of protein. So I'm looking at 27 to 30 grams of protein for my first meal at 6:40. And then I'll typically have coffee at like 7:30. So what I do is like I work and then I eat, and then it takes me probably 30 minutes to like get through maybe a small amount of being lethargic, and then I use the coffee, and then I'm good to go after that.
So you're good after the coffee.
Yeah.
It seems to just push you right through.
It doesn't take me down a lot to do 3 eggs and 3 pieces of bacon. It doesn't like zap my energy, but I do try and put a little bit of a gap to process that before the coffee.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Because I heard once that caffeine just blocks the feelings of tiredness in your brain, like with the receptors. And so if you're lethargic and you take caffeine, once the caffeine high wears off, you go back to the same state or lower of energy that you were prior. So it's like, well, I don't want to just dig myself a hole and have to pay that in the future.
Right. Definitely.
So yeah, that's that. I'm bulking. It's going well.
I'm bulking. It's not going quite as well.
Well, you started later, didn't you, than I did?
No, probably about. I mean, I don't know. When did you start bulking?
I guess technically I started after the ultra.
Yeah, so you've been bulking quite
a
longer, but I definitely need to get more regimented with it.
Yeah. Yep. There's that. Next up, these questions are submitted by you, the listeners, via my Instagram. Feel free to DM me or at Real Period Conversations, and I'll just keep a backlog of questions for the future.
You know, I didn't get any questions on mine either.
Yeah.
That was dumb because I reposted that.
Well, you wouldn't get the questions. They'd go to me.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Because it's your form.
Mm-hmm. You should post a form next time, but you get good engagement. Okay. How do you balance time between business and fitness?
Business comes first.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the that's the unfortunate part of our world right now is we are in a building phase. So business comes first. But I'll phrase this very, very diligently or carefully, I guess.
Spilled myself.
Goodness gracious. Very carefully. Between the two, between business and fitness, business comes first. And then I would say you have to fit fitness in where you can.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I think it's fair.
You know, if that's 6, 7 at night, it's what you got to do, unfortunately. That's, I guess, my mindset at least.
You like it as a nightcap because you do the sauna too, which helps you go to bed, I'm sure.
Yeah. I love sauna before I go to bed. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Feels so good.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. You got to fit in where you can. I also I feel like the question was asked, like the word balance to me implies like it's either or, like it's a decision. Am I going to work out or am I going to work on the business? Like which one am I going to do? And for me, it's not an or, it's an and. It's like I'm going to work out because it gives me the energy to work on the business. Like I feel like I really do get energy and confidence and just all of these positive attributes that positively impact the way I'm able to work on my business. So that's kind of how I view fitness in my mindset.
Yeah. No, actually that's a really good point that I hadn't thought about. But yeah, I think for me it's if I don't work out for 2-3 days, I definitely feel it.
Yeah.
I feel it in my everyday life,
Yeah.
which is very unfortunate.
It just releases stress.
It does.
Yeah. If I go a day without anything, like at a minimum, it's got to be a sauna or an ice bath. But if I didn't do sauna, ice bath, or some kind of workout, I'm a mess.
Yeah.
I have to do something every day. And I feel like sometimes I'm disciplined, which is good. Like I don't want to and I still do it. But I feel like a lot of times people mistake doing something every day for discipline. Sometimes the choice is just like, I don't want to feel terrible today. And I know this will make me feel good.
Yeah. The mental aspect of it is just, it's amazing.
Yeah, it really is. So yeah, just got to fit in whenever. Fridays, I love my Friday morning because I do 4 Mile Friday, and it's a run club. We meet up and we run 4 miles at 6 a.m. and then we end at Sweat House, which is the contrast therapy studio. So then I do ice bath and sauna for the next hour, and then I roll into the restaurant, and that is like the most perfect thing in the world. It's the happiest 2 hours of my week.
It's I haven't made it out yet.
I know. I asked you, and you're just like, nah, I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm like, oh man, who's gonna be at the restaurant?
Yeah, because we're slammed at 6 a.m.
Hey, you never know, man. You never know when that bus full of kids is gonna come out.
Yeah, I might have a little pop before we're even open.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
No, I got to get out there. Shout out Sweat House though, really cool spot.
It's goated.
It's really amazing. So
yeah, I love Sweat House. Okay, how do you stay locked in?
How do you stay locked in? It's a good question. I'm really scared to fail.
Fear.
Yeah. So that I feel like that's a big aspect of it. I've had that fear for a long time. I know you probably have a little inkling of that. I mean, when we were in college, it was a scary thing. It's like, what's going to happen after college?
Yeah.
You know, we were doing player card, which is great. But then we got to a certain point where we were like, player card doesn't make a whole lot of sense outside of college. It was a lot of fun. We made great connections, made a little bit of money, but that realization that we're gonna have to figure something else out after college, and that fear of failure.
Yeah,
and not even just like failing a certain task, or there's no real way to quantify being a failure for me. It's just like I don't want to not achieve what I want to achieve.
Yeah,
I guess is more of it than anything. Like obviously I'm scared to do certain things, or speak in front of people is a big one that I get scared of for some reason. I don't know.
As he's on a podcast.
Yeah, but this is much easier.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. Just that not being to the point where I want to be, I think, motivates me to keep going every day.
Yeah, no, that's valid. I think I agree with you. It's for myself, like I'm just chasing my potential, and so it's like failing feels like I'm letting down my potential, which overall I don't agree with that. Like you and I had talked about the value of failure a couple days ago, and like how actually, we just played out a bunch of hypotheticals, and all of them came out positive, even though there was failures involved in them. But I think like just at surface level, it is scary, and so like that is just a quick hit little motivator that is probably a good thing, honestly. Um, so it's letting yourself down. But also the other one that I feel often too is like how many people are investing in us and how many people have spent time investing and trying to teach us and train us and make introductions and just I mean, this is over the years. It's not just the restaurant, it's everything leading up to this point. How many people have told us since we were kids that we had so much potential and spent time to do the little extra things to make sure that we were put in a position to where we could win in the future. And I feel like all of that's kind of just culminated right here. And so I also feel that pressure as well in a positive way of everyone has paid it forward to me. And so now it's my time to perform.
Right. Yeah. Well, and kind of to go off of that as well, like we've talked about this before, but people rely on us now, which is kind of a scary thought, you know? So we have to get up in the morning and
Yeah.
do the things that we say we're going to do, and which is great. I mean, I think that really holds us accountable, and it's given me a new aspect of motivation
Yeah.
at this point because we've got people that we really, really like that we want to see succeed. And the way that they succeed is if we succeed.
Yeah.
And it's all just a big pool of, not stress, but it's a big pool of, knowledge and actions and moving and goals and things like that to the next step.
Yeah.
So
I heard something cool earlier today. I was just listening to something online, and the question was, when do you become a man? And I was like, huh, that's interesting. And I kept listening, and it said, it's not when you get your driver's license at 16. It's not when you go to college and you're living by yourself and you're 18. You become a man the first time that someone relies on you. Sometime the first time that someone becomes dependent upon you when the thing is bigger than it is for yourself. And for us, it's like, we may not feel like going to the restaurant on a day. We may not feel like being there at 6 a.m. We may not feel like having to take that meeting or do whatever, but people are relying on us, like you were saying. And so that really hit home today. I was like, that's pretty cool. It really put things in perspective.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, I guess it roots back to fear of like, if we don't perform, what does that look like? Not only for us, but everybody else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yeah. Do you have any other ones besides fear? I mean, I think
guys were scared over here.
In a roundabout way, though. I mean, a lot of it reverts back to fear.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a weird realization that I'm having in my head. But
yeah. Last question, because we're just rambling at this point, is
the people love to hear us ramble.
I don't know, man. We told them we're tired. What advice would you give to your 18-year-old self?
18. Wow. You realize that was, what am I, 23 or 24?
You're 24.
24.
So,
ugh.
You're coming up on 25.
Wow.
Yeah.
6 years ago. I don't know. That's so long ago. It's hard to even think about where I was at that point. High school, for sure. Probably a junior in high school. Senior? I would have been junior. I don't know. Either one. Junior, senior. I would have been in high school. Really wouldn't have done anything with my life at that point. Would have been thinking about college. Honestly, I think I would tell myself to just keep going because there was I don't want to keep going back to this, but I feel like there were so many unknowns at that point. I was going to go to college, but what was I going to study? I think at that point I wanted to be a dentist.
Yeah, I remember that.
So that was kind of crazy.
Now you're creating cavities.
Now I'm creating cavities and just, serving eggs, which is great. But I think just keep going. It's a dumb, just rudimentary answer, but the idea that, college is fun. It's an interesting experience, I will say. it's something that you'll never get to experience again. So I guess enjoy college, because I think that was a really fun time in my life. And then also just keep going, just keep looking forward as well. So maybe it's part of the idea that you enjoy the moment, but you're also looking forward to what's coming next.
Yeah, I like that a lot. It was good that you probably called out to enjoy college as well, because you don't want to just look back and have not spent any time doing anything memorable.
Right. Exactly. And that's a much deeper conversation that you and I can both have, but we've talked about that a lot. It's like, what do you sacrifice in the moment so that you can hopefully reap the benefit in the future?
Right.
But what's that threshold? What is that line where, okay, maybe I should enjoy where we're at right now?
Right.
Because we'll never be here ever again.
Right. That question is one that we discuss a lot. It's funny. I feel like from the outside looking in, if I looked at your college experience, like the first year and a half or two was almost like the make memories, enjoy it. And the last two was lock in, put your head down. Like I know we still had fun the second 2 years, but like it almost seems like it was cut 50-50. Like the front half was fun and the second half was business.
Yeah, it in a way it was. I mean, I think the first 2 years were definitely memorable and taught me a lot, I would say, just about life and friendship and all that good stuff. And probably, I don't want to go into detail, but the second half, I feel like I was able to apply that even and be like, okay, I enjoyed that piece of my life. That was great.
Mm-hmm.
We can still continue to enjoy life, but
I wasn't under the impression we could do that.
Lock in though. We were locked in. We were doing it.
We were dialed, bro.
We were dialed for a while.
Yeah, we were.
And it was kind of brutal, honestly. It was
sucked.
Brutal,
yeah, it sucked.
It was good. It's good, brutal.
My advice to my 18-year-old self would be trust yourself. Yeah.
It's a good one.
Yeah, because like going back to the whole fear thing, like I was going to Wichita State where no one else I knew was there, and it was just like that time in my life there's so much in the air. It's like, what are you going to do with your life? What are you doing with your life? Just a lot of those types of questions. And yeah, just have faith that if you keep going, like you're saying, it's just going to work out. You're going to figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they always say that. They're always like, just do something. And it's so hard to tell yourself to just do something.
Yeah.
So just keep moving forward.
Just keep moving forward, folks.
I love it.
All right. I feel like this is kind of a natural ending.
Indeed.
John is no longer online, so you can find me at Jacob O'Connor. The podcast is at Real Period Conversations. He's got his finger up.
I'm still online, just private, so you can request to follow me if you'd like, but you may or may not get into the club.
You're gatekeeping.
Yes.
Okay, if you guys enjoyed this, share the episode. Thanks for listening. Send me questions. I'll stockpile them for next time. God bless America.
Adios.